Welcome back to New Post today. And today, Prime Minister had a meeting with the Council of Ministers with regard to an important goal, which is one of the important topics in the manifesto. An inclusion in the manifesto of this year's Lok Sabha coming up elections, and it's none other than about Viksith Bharath. So he has been talking about Viksith Bharat until up to 2047. What exactly does Viksith Bharat mean, and what are the characteristic features that as an economy India should attain for it to be called as Viksith Bharat, or a developed country, which Prime Minister wants to make India by 2047. So the word Viksith is derived from the word Viksita, which means bloomed, blossomed, opened, grown or developed. We are still not a developed country. These definitions are usually given by international economic institutions like the IMF, World Bank and OECD, along with the United Nations as well. So Viksith Bharat is the goal of the government of India up to 2047. We are now a middle income country, and India wants to be a developed nation until the 100th year of independence, that is 2047, with economic growth, environmental sustainability, social progress and good governance as well. So any individual can propose his ideas for, if he wants to propose any for what exactly should be done for Viksith Bharat. This is welcome on a portal called as MyGov portal, and he can give us ideas with regard to the vision. So the vision encompasses various aspects of development, including economic growth. So not only economic growth, but also social progress, environmental sustainability and good governance, as I just spelled out. This was the vision laid down for Viksith Bharat. The Viksith Bharat vision is to have a developed nation by 2047, which I told you is the 100th year of independence. And we are not a developed country as yet. We are a middle income country. So what exactly is a developed country? A developed or a high income country is a sovereign state which has very high quality of life, developed economy and advanced technological infrastructure relative to other less industrialized nations. Now, most commonly the criteria used for evaluating the degree of economic development are GDP, that is gross domestic product, GNP, that is gross national product, per capita income, the level of industrialization, the widespread infrastructure and also the general standard of living. Different definitions now have been adopted for developed countries by the IMF, that is the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank. Moreover, HDI ranking, there is something called as the HDI or the Human Development Index ranking, that is used to reflect the composite index of life expectancy, education and income per capita. Developed countries are generally more advanced nations, post-industrialized economies, meaning that the service sector now dominates this their wealth of the country than the industrial and the agriculture or the primary sectors. They are contrasted with developing countries which are in the process now of industrialization or are in the pre-industrial level of growth, and sometimes almost and most entirely agrarian. So they depend on the primary sector. Now some of which fall into the category also of least developed countries, where primary sector dominates the economy most, and primary includes your agriculture, your other sectors of the economy like pastoralism, fisheries, mining, etc. So one such criteria is the income per capita. Countries with high GDP per capita would be developed as the developed countries. Now another economic criteria is industrialization. So countries in which tertiary and the quaternary sectors of the industry dominate are described as the developed countries by the IMF and the World Bank. Recently, the Human Development Index has also been used, which not only combines the economic growth but also national income and other measures like life expectancy and education, which is used to measure the level of development in the country, in each country. And this criteria would be used to define the level of developed countries, ranging from the least to the middle and also very high development. Usually we have the Scandinavian countries, the Baltic countries, the European countries and US and Canada as very high developed countries. countries. So where does India stand now? According to the IMF, India as of 2022 is worth about $3.46 trillion. It is the fifth largest economy in the world by market exchange rate, and around $11.6 trillion, the third largest purchasing power parity, with its average GDP growth rate of 5.8% in the last 2 decades and reaching 6.1% in 2011 and 12. India is the world's fastest growing economies. However, the country ranks 139th with regard to nominal GDP per capita and 118th GDP per capita of purchasing power parity. Now this 500, it has a vast labor population, which is actually the second largest in the world after China, numbering almost 522 million work Indian labor force as of 2017. The service sector makes up almost 55.56% of the GDP, industrial sector 26.3% of GDP, and the agriculture sector contributing 18.1%. Indian foreign exchange remittances are almost crossing $100 billion as of 2022, which is the highest in the world, and they have contributed to the economy by 32 million Indians working in the foreign countries. In 2021, India was the world's 9th largest importer and the 6th largest exporter. India is described as a middle income country. So middle income countries are those countries which have a per capita gross national income of $1,136 to $13,800. The World Bank classifies countries for operational purposes for financial and economic development and services that it provides to them. Also, middle income countries make up the largest share of the world's population, and they are very, very important with regard to economic activity because they contribute to a large scale economic growth of the global countries or of the globe. Now the middle income countries are further broken down into lower middle income countries, upper middle income countries. Lower middle income countries have a per capita GNI of $1,136 to $4,465. The upper middle income countries have a per capita GNI of $4,400 and up to $13,000 GNI. So the middle income countries are a very diverse group with regard to size, region, population. The BRICS nation are one of them. Their income level ranges from tiny nations to small populations like Belize and Marshall Islands to the 5 most famous BRICS countries like the Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Now China and India together approximately account for almost 1/3 of the world's population and now are playing a very, very important role in the global economy. So in this few lines, I've just told you what exactly is a developed country, a middle income country, and how the classification is done. So you might have got a brief idea of what exactly are the changes India will have to do to become a developed country. It will have to focus more on manufacturing sector, service sector, provide more employment to the people so that the purchasing power increases, the per capita income increases, and also this development has to result into sustainability and social progress. That means growth with all and not only few. So these are few parameters or the criteria which you can describe for a Viksith Bharat by 2047. So if you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video, and I shall see you in my next post. Until then, it's very happy learning. Good night.